My photo shoot is of me and my horse, and I've had her for 18 years. She's an old lady now, she's 33, and she has and she was the one that just kept me going and kept me motivated. Well, I had to do, because I had to go and see to my horse, and you know, you can't not feed them, you can't not. So fortunately my mum was available to look after her initially, and then after about a week sitting at home I went up with her and made sure I did light work and not too much work, and took everything just nice and steady, and yeah, we got through it, and that was it. I've known Lucy for a long time. In fact, Lucy used to come out riding my horse, and we had another one at the time, so we used to go out riding together a few times. Her son was only about 2. I don't know how old he is now. He's a big lad. She'll tell you how old he is now. But yeah, so I've known her a long time, and after my mastectomy, I was offered nipple tattooing through the NHS, because they said one of the nurses has learnt how to do tattooing, and I thought no. And so obviously I knew what Lucy did, and it was before the NIPs existed, because she was just in Keithley doing tattooing, but she was doing the nipple tattooing, and so I just went to see her, and we got the tattoo done, and I was really pleased with it. I'd gone through a stage after having had the operation, and also thought, well, do I really need a tattoo? And every time I walked past the mirror naked, I could see this bare boob, and it just didn't look right, and it's very difficult to get your head around that. And it was amazing the difference once I'd had the nipple tattooed, what it meant to me mentally. It made a lot of difference being able to see a nipple. It didn't have the same effect as it did without. So yeah, I would recommend it to anybody who's had a mastectomy, because it's one of the worst things to see no nipple at all. But yeah, to just have one, it's really does make a lot for your mental well-being, and also your confidence, and you do feel more confident with it, even though nobody sees it. Well, we do when we show it to them. I show it to everybody. Anybody who's interested, I will show them my tattoo, because I always think, people say you can't get your boobs out, and I say, well, I aren't. It's a tattoo on a implant. It's not a boob anymore to me, but you know, it just, to the outsider you can't tell the difference, but close friends and people you know, and anybody who's interested, I will show them it, because I think the more people who know about it and how good it looks, does a little bit more for Lucy and for the NIPS organisation, which I think is a fantastic charity, and everybody should donate to it. I think, unfortunately, when you are diagnosed with breast cancer, you don't have a lot of time to think about where you want your journey to go. You tend to find that you are taking advice from the doctors and from the surgeons, and I wish there was more advice to how to deal with it afterwards, but you tend to concentrate on dealing with it as it happens, and you don't have time to think, because it's not something that you can think about One of the other girls did have time to think because she had a chemo first and went through that, so that gave her time. If I'd have had time to think and time to get my head round it, I probably would have gone a different route. I would have probably had both of them taken away. But again, didn't have the time. It was, right, we found the breast cancer in the left breast, so we're gonna go, because I had a reduction and there was nothing on the biopsy in the right breast, but because I'd had the reduction, they took a significant amount of breast tissue away from my right breast, which wasn't showing any cancers in the biopsy, sent that to the lab, and they actually did find some non-invasive cancer. And so obviously that is now going to be still a little bit of a worry in case there is anything there. The surgeon's confident that she's got rid of everything, but if I'd have known now what I knew, if I'd have known all this, because that obviously happened afterwards, after the operation, I would have probably had them both taken away. And that is a big consideration for anybody who's going through that, is do you have them both taken away? Some people it's not a problem, yeah, just get rid of them both. I wished if I'd have known that, then I would have probably had them both taken away.